and 2. They stack the line of scrimmage. There's Dom Hill. There he goes. Dom Hill 40. Dom Hill 30. Downhill Dom Hill. Touchdown. 61 yards.
Smoaky.com presents the Texas High School Football Show on 365 Sports. Brought to you by Peter Chevrolet.
Medlock, they fake it to him. James Keeper off the left side, breaks the tackle, into the secondary, skips away, and he will score. Touchdown, Duncanville.
Here's David Smoke.
It is week number 7 of the Texas high school football season. Everybody a part of district games. There might be a pocket or a district or two that has just 4 teams or 5 teams, but we're ready to go. District games that decide who plays in the upcoming state playoffs that third week, starting the third week in November up until right before Christmas. I'm David Smoke. Garrett Ross is producing this morning, and our guest today includes Southlake Carroll's Todd Dodge, son. Our guest today includes Riley Dodge at Southlake Carroll. They're unbeaten and, of course, a phenomenal program. And we will hear from Claude Mathis, DeSoto, as they play Duncanville coming up this weekend, plus the best games of the upcoming week outside of what I just mentioned with DeSoto and Duncanville. Best wins last week at Atascocita. We featured that game against Summer Creek at Atascocita. Craig Stump, they win 42-39. Aledo came from behind. They were trailing Denton Ryan 27-8 in the second quarter, came back to win 123 consecutive district victories. Frisco's Panther Creek with a nice win against Paris in a shootout 38-35. Jefferson, they're rolling. They got Cameron Williams, a heck of a running back, putting up huge numbers. Beat Atlanta 43-14. Coppell 31, Geyer 24, and a great one. And Henderson, what did I say last week? In our pick'em, at the end of the week, at the end of the show each week, the elite games. In that index by pigskinprep.com and Jerry Forrest, they were, I don't usually put up a game that is like someone's favored by more than a couple of touchdowns, but sometimes the rivalry games I do. And Henderson-Kilgore was a huge favorite. Henderson, Clay Baker and company got up 27-24. DeKalb beat Dangerfield in a great one, 30-28. Now, a couple of things from the weekend. This is from Matt Stepp. He does a great job with Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. An undefeated team had a head coach of an undefeated team tell me today his punter quit last week. His mom sent an email telling him how horrible of a head coach he is because, you got to read this, they don't punt enough. That's the entire reason you try to play, so you don't punt, because you keep converting first downs or scoring or kicking field goals and touchdowns. Literally, as Matt said, great job, can't make this stuff up. In six-man football, last week, Belleville Faith beat Waco Valor 148-112, a new state record for the most points scored in a game in six-man football. There was Longview running back Kelvin Washington. Oh, my goodness, what a game. 24 carries, 381 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 catches, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. Had a kick return for 41. Longview spanked Rockwall 63-34. A phenomenal game. They call him Boosie. A phenomenal game for him. Also, before we get to the Duncanville-DeSoto game, one other note. Jason Hobbs of Gerald ran for 344 yards in a school record in a win against Lago Vista. Jordan Prince at Beckville, 307 yards, 7 touchdowns in a win that they had against Big Sandy. Hawkins quarterback Eli Smith threw for 7 touchdowns against Ore City. And Chapel Hill's Trevor Brooks, he's a defensive linebacker. He also punts. He plays receiver. 11 tackles, 8 of them solo, 3 punts for a 34-yard average, a sack, 2 caused fumbles, a fumble return for a touchdown, a punt return for a touchdown, 6 catches, 78 yards. It does everything in a win against Palestine. Also, wanted to bring up Romeo Minter of Hooks against Oklahoma City Homeschool. 7 tackles, 3 sacks, 5 tackles behind the line of scrimmage. Also had 6 catches, 132 yards, and 3 touchdowns in a game that he won. Mario Porter from Frost in a win against Meridian. 309 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns, 3 tackles, 7 tackles for losses. He also had a sack, had an interception for a touchdown, blocked a kick in their win against Meridian. Hudson Humble, quarterback at Harker Heights, threw for 7 touchdowns, 341 yards in a win against Killeen, 70-13. And I think I had one more on the back of the sheet. Zion Williams from Lake Belton in a win against Eastview out of Georgetown in overtime, 5 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, 6 quarterback pressures, 3 disruptive plays, also had a knocked down a pass, 2 fumble recoveries, intercepted a pass, and ran it back for a touchdown. Try to spotlight some of the biggest and most impressive individual games whenever we possibly can. And then also this from Matt Stepp, who's unbelievable at what he does covering high school football. Friday's game between DeSoto and Duncanville, well over 150 media credentials submitted for a regular season game. That is unbelievable. DeSoto and Duncanville, the same district, kind of like what we've said about Summer Creek and Atascocita and North Shore. They have had some unbelievable games, with DeSoto winning last year, and both, of course, have won back-to-back state titles in the biggest classification in 6A. When we come back, Southlake Carroll football coach Riley Dodge, also Claude Mathis of DeSoto, and the best games of the week. We'll have that. This is the Friday night and also statewide high school scoreboard and podcast here on 365 Sports via Smoaky.com.
When you need power, performance, and head-turning style, you need Peters Chevrolet. Check out the 2024 Chevrolet Silverado. 1.9% for 36 months with discounts up to $10,000 off on custom crew cabs. 2024 Silverado prices starting at $36,995. Whether you work hard or play hard, take your pick out of the largest selection of new Chevrolets at Peters Chevrolet. Online at peterscars.net. Peters Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
New arrivals just dropped at Barefoot Campus Outfitter in Waco. Looking for the best Baylor gear? Barefoot is the place to grab your gear. Game day polos, tees, tanks, caps, clear stadium bags, jewelry, and more. Barefoot Outfitters has all the essentials with unique campus apparel and offering comfortable garments and designs. Long-lasting images that people continue to enjoy wearing time and time again. Located right off I-35 on Spate, or shop at barefootcampusoutfitter.com and get free shipping on orders $75 or more. Go Bears!
Hi, I'm Mark Stewart with Bird Colgin Ford. It's that time of year, it's football season. Bird Colgin Ford is a proud supporter of the best high school football right here in Central Texas. BK Ford is proud to sell the #1 selling truck in Texas, the F-Series truck, 47 years in a row. Come see the largest showroom in Texas and experience better at Bird Colgin Ford.
Baylor Scott and White, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physicians for Baylor Athletics, specializing in diagnosing and treatment of any and all sport-related injuries. Celebrating over 2 decades of service to Central Texas, they tackle all surgical and non-surgical problems that arise from an active lifestyle. Trust the doctors that Baylor trusts. And when injuries sideline you, don't wait for Monday. Join us at 8:30 on Saturday morning for a post-game injury evaluation clinic. Baylor Scott and White, Southwest Sports Medicine Orthopedics. We get you back in the game.
Where is the best beef in Texas? Your house. When you order from Texas Beef House and unleash the flavor of Texas-raised Wagyu. Texas Beef House now hosting twice monthly live auctions where you, the customer, set the cost of what you want to pay for ribeyes and New York strip fillets, flat iron, brisket, tri-tip. So look online, TexasBeefHouse.com, and popping up will be the live auction dates coming up. Stay connected. It's TexasBeefHouse.com. From their pasture to your plate, twice monthly live auctions, TexasBeefHouse.com. Southlake Carroll head football coach and former Southlake Carroll star quarterback Riley Dodge with us again on the statewide high school football podcast. I'm David Smoke. And are you now almost to the point you've been coaching long enough, you're a veteran?
Yeah, I mean, we've been here a while now, going in our 7th year, and we got a good thing going right now. But I think that in coaching, it's kind of the dog days. So, dog years. So I've been doing for a minute now.
Okay. Now you've been at a place that obviously is used to winning and winning championships. You played and coached a championship, played for a state championship with Todd, your father. You've been in a state championship game as a head coach against him as well. But do you think right now the high level of 6A with what you are doing, it looks like Lee Wigginton's got Allen kind of back on track, DeSoto, Duncanville, we have North Crowley with what they've done with Coach Gates, and that doesn't even include Summer Creek, Atascocita, North Shore down south. Is it as good at the top as it's ever been?
Yeah, it's been like that for, I think, the last 3 to 4 years. There's a lot of parity, especially in the Metroplex, but across the state of Texas. You really got to worry about each and every week. We're in a tough district. Our district's gotten tougher and tougher throughout the years. But there's a lot of parity in the state of Texas, a lot of great football players, a lot of great coaches. And, you got your work cut out for you when you enter the playoffs in 6A football.
What is the biggest challenge for you and your team this year? You're obviously off to another great start, but what is the biggest challenge, you think?
Yeah, we got a young group, got an inexperienced group. A lot of guys that haven't played. Now we got 7 games underneath our belt, about to be our 7th game. So just consistency, each and every day. Still learning how to practice the right way. And so trying to string a full week together plus a game of complete football. So right now our kids are bought in. They understand the process that it takes to win football games. But the big thing for us is just being a little bit more consistent day in and day out.
The first job you had out of college after you had played at both UNT and then also McNeese State was a quarterback or quality control at Texas. You played the position of quarterback. You were taught and learned under what your father has created over his lifetime as well. Is it easy for you or sometimes maybe difficult for you to teach quarterbacks because you've been through what you've been through?
I wouldn't say it's difficult. I'm definitely blessed to have an opportunity to have the guy that I had in my household and learn the game from him. But I've been also very blessed to have been around Cliff Kingsbury, Major Applewhite, and a bunch of other guys just across my journey, and just really try to be a sponge and be a listener and learn from the really, really good ones. And at the end of the day, you got to make it your own. And I feel like I've done that, but I'm very blessed to have some amazing people in my corner.
How do you know when somebody just has it as a quarterback? Is it arm strength? Is it vision? Is it instincts? What is it?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things. There's a lot of prerequisites that go into being an elite quarterback. But when you see it, you know it. And I think sometimes it's harder to talk about and to explain. But a guy that's super urgent, that's a competitor, a guy that just loves to win in everything we do. And that's something that we preach with our quarterbacks. A guy that's truly loves the responsibility of playing quarterback. I think that's not talked about enough nowadays, but really loves the responsibility on and off the field, the good and the bad. But you can really tell when you see it.
You told me a story about when you were at Southlake Carroll and you guys were ranked number 1 in the world, basically, in high school football, that your dad tried to downplay that, all year long, and then you guys won it all. And what was his reaction in the locker room? Yeah,
we talked about in our field house. We have 3 goals: district championship, practice on Thanksgiving, and win a state title. And 2015. I'm a little bit older than that. 2005. We won it all against Katy at Old Texas Stadium, and we became the mythical national champions. And so they have those newspapers they hand out after, post game, and we have it in the locker room. And he downplayed the national championship all year, and especially late in the season because everybody was talking about it. And he gets in the locker room and says, I know I told y'all I didn't care about, becoming mythical national champions, but we're national champions and we just went nuts and had a great time. So it meant a lot to him, but it meant a lot to the 15 to 18-year-olds in that locker room.
When you were growing up and under a coaching family, obviously, playing the game the way you did at such an incredible level, I look back at your junior year stats, and it's just silly what you did both as a passer but also as a dual-threat guy. When did you know you wanted to coach?
I knew from an early age. I think that, just being a field house rat, just want to be in with my dad. I think, when you're you're burning the candle at both ends, trying to take care of your household, trying to take care of your field house. You don't have a lot of opportunities with your family. I have 2 boys of my own. I have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old, and my boys are with me all the time. Now my expectations aren't necessarily for them to be coaches one day. I think it's an amazing profession that you have an opportunity to impact a lot of people around you. And I saw that at an early age. Obviously, love the game, love the X's and O's, the strategy of it, but I just love people. And I think just naturally, being around my dad, but also being around my grandfather, Ebby Neptune, who's a longtime AD at Austin Westlake.
Mm-hmm.
Just being around a lot of different field houses and a lot of different styles. That's something that was ingrained in me, and I just love impacting people.
So what's the biggest challenge today? I asked you about the game itself, but what's the biggest challenge? Your team, we've discussed that. But as a football coach in high school today?
Yeah, I think, making sure I'm blessed to have kids that love ball and love, they love, wearing that logo on the side of their helmet. And I think the biggest thing nowadays is there's a lot of distractions. A lot of things on the outsides that you got to try to help kids and coaches keep the main thing and keep them locked in and, compartmentalize. I think that's the biggest thing that we talk about in our program, controlling the controllable, being where your feet are at. But, making sure these kids understand, we play, we got a lot of pressure on us at this place to win football games, but we do play a beautiful game that's meant to be fun. So let's make sure we're enjoying our time together.
There's so much going on. The distractions of young people today, we all had distractions, even for someone like me when there wasn't anything other than a regular dial or rotary phone. What, in your opinion, how do you keep that from getting into the locker room? How do you keep your players from getting too caught up in what is, as you said, being said from the outside, if anything?
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough task. I talk about it a lot with our coaching staff. These kids, have a lot on their plate, athletically, academically, and on their phone, and just socially as a whole. I think there's a lot of, with our kids nowadays, 15, 18-year-old boys and girls, you see the comparison. They want to compare themselves to other people and other situations. So, we try to really breathe life into our kids and, let them know that, they're doing, no matter what they're doing right now, if they're a starter or they're a third string guy or on the scout team, that their role is very, very important. And so we really hammer home that everybody's job is important in our program.
One of the things about Southlake Carroll, that those that maybe have not paid attention or just now kind of picking up about high school football, if it's not in their blood from the time they're born and they cover to go to games, whatever, their favorite high school or alma mater, is that Southlake Carroll's won at every level. Started out as a smaller school, kind of like what Argyle's trying to do or Salina has done or even other schools have done too. How much does that, just the tradition of they have just always won? And I don't know exactly, Riley, when all that started, but I think it might have happened starting in the 80s and then moved forward or whatever. So this is not like you just all of a sudden had a bunch of thousand people in your school. This has been for a long time.
Yeah, it started in the early 80s with Bob Ledbetter. Obviously,
Yep.
he's and of what this program was going to be about. But man, David, we walk in each and every day with a championship mentality, with urgency. It doesn't matter who we're playing. We know we're going to get everybody's best shot. We talk about you got to love the responsibility and just love the pleasure of having a target on your back. But we talk about taking the target off our back and put it on other people's chests and go in attack mode. And so, we got a tall task this week against the Eaton Eagles that are a talented program, and we know we're going to get their best. But our kids, I think, growing up in this town, and we're fortunate to still be in a one-horse town, which is not the norm nowadays, especially in this metroplex. And we have that's kind of our secret sauce. Kids grow up being Dragons and Dragon Youth football. All of our elementaries are Dragons, and so we got a lot of pride in our logo and a lot of tradition that we really lean into.
8 state championships. Are those trophies like when you walk through the front door of the field? Where are those trophies?
Yeah, right when you open the door, it hits you right in the face. So it's a constant reminder of the responsibility that we have, the responsibility I have as the head football coach and now athletic director on what you're meant to do. Obviously, that's our ultimate goal each and every year. But it's a long journey. But the tradition hits you in the face when you wake up in the morning with a cup of coffee.
Yeah, it's exactly. They're as good as your next game. Ask Alabama, right? And what happened with them in college football. 4,184 yards and 54 touchdowns in 2000, and when you won the state title and beat Westlake. 1,119 yards rushing, 13 touchdowns. I had to go back and double check that. I always knew you had an unbelievable year, but would you have considered yourself a dual threat quarterback?
Yeah, for sure. When I walk in the room, I'm not going to scare you with my physique. I'm not the biggest. But one thing I could do, I could run. I prided myself in being an accurate passer. Really anticipating. Didn't have the biggest arm in the world. Had enough arm to operate. But I think just being a coach's kid and understanding the game, obviously let me play free and help me out in my preparation. But I was on the track team. I qualified for the Texas relays. Was always a deep quarter miler and 200 runner. So that was something that had to be a strength of my game. It was me running.
As you know, you and I traded some text messages about 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago because we had your father on right before his opening game at Lovejoy, and they've now gotten they've played some people now. Good gosh, they've played a hellacious schedule, and they've been able to kind of turn that corner, and you knew that he would. What was the one thing? You mentioned keep the main thing the main thing. You told me about what he said as well, but what was maybe something a little bit different or random that he taught you about coaching?
Well, I think one thing that, when I first got this job, you want to make an impact. You want to be felt by your coaching staff and the kids and really in the hallways, so you got as a head coach, you got to have your thumb on a lot of different things, but you also have a lot of great coaches. I have a lot of great coaches in this field house. So, being a master delegator, making sure you give these guys jobs and responsibilities. I'm still the offensive play caller, head football coach, and a couple weeks ago I just became the athletic director. So got a lot of responsibility on my plate as well. But I got an amazing coaching staff. I think the best in the state of Texas. We've got a lot of guys that have been with me for 7 years now, so we all kind of speak the same language. But delegating to my staff to make sure I can be the best I can be each and every day.
So what is the biggest challenge of being the AD? Because that includes everything. That includes all sports. That includes a lot more of what you have to manage. And that's just like you said just very recently.
Yeah, it's a big job. It's a huge responsibility. I got Jenny Suter, our assistant AD, that's unbelievable. I wouldn't be able to do this job without her. We have an amazing staff inside of our athletic department. Got amazing coordinators, campus coordinators. So, I think the biggest thing is making sure that coaches, we're doing our job. I think that's the easy thing for me here. I got an amazing staff when it comes to our head coaches across the board. Got a lot of people that got a lot of notches in their belt when it comes to winning games in a lot of different sports. But just make sure you take care of kids and have some self-awareness. I think that's probably the biggest thing. Have some self-awareness, take care of kids, and go win ball games.
What was the pressure, last thing for you? You've been deep into the playoffs. I mean, you obviously played for the state title, but you've played into the quarters, and that's kind of something everyone expects and hopefully never takes for granted. What was the biggest challenge for you to be a coach's son who's coaching?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it's kind of all I've known. Growing up we moved here in 1999. I always knew I wanted to be a quarterback. Didn't know if I was going to get an opportunity or not, but I knew if I worked hard enough that I'd get an opportunity. And I played, behind a lot of great quarterbacks. I walked through these hallways from Chase Daniel, Greg McElroy. Had to wait my time until my junior year, and wanted to make sure I didn't drop the rope. But being the head football coach's son, and also being the quarterback, there's a huge microscope on you. So I felt that at a young age. So when it comes to also being the head football coach here, my dad's coach and everything he's done in his career. To me, that's not a burden; that's a blessing. I've just really tried to take everything I've learned from him and a lot of other great coaches and mentors, and trying to apply it to my style.
Were you happy when you knew he was getting back into coaching, even though you knew he did not want to be in the same class as you?
Yeah, I was. I was really happy that he was getting back into it, so he stopped bothering me. So that was a good thing for all of us. It was cool that, having him around the last couple of years and him getting to be on the sideline, take a deep breath, and golf a little bit, work on his game. And we're happy that they're up in the Metroplex. My mom and my dad and my sister's up here now as well. So they're not too far from us to see their grandkids. But, it didn't shock me that he wanted to get back in it. That's all he knows. He doesn't have a lot of hobbies. But he's going to do amazing things at Lovejoy, just like he always has.
Your main focus is where you are now, and it should be. But there are people that like what you're doing and maybe want Riley Dodge down the road. You started, as I mentioned, at Texas as a quality control. Is that something that is of interest to you sometime in your career?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Maybe one day. I definitely want to make sure that I am being where my feet are at, and being at University of Texas, being at Texas A&M, that's where I cut my teeth. Was on the college side for 4.5 years. Still have a lot of great relationships in college football. If the timing's right, I think for me and my young family, I think it's very important for me to be present with my family. And I got a pretty dang good job, and I love what I do. I love the town I'm in. I'm in my hometown, so it's going to take a special opportunity for me to leave this place.
Riley, thank you very much. Good luck the rest of the way, man. Good to see you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right, Riley Dodge, head football coach at Southlake Carroll, with us. Off to another great start. They have been very deep into the playoffs with him as the head coach at Southlake Carroll. Won that state title as a junior and a part of that rich tradition of the Dragons and football. When we come back, DeSoto head coach Claude Mathis. Also, the best games of the week number 7. This is the statewide high school football podcast, 365 Sports and Smoaky.com.
Make this the summer of Ram at Peters Ram in Longview. Introducing the all-new 2025 Ram 1500 with available 420 horsepower and 540 foot-pounds of torque, starting at an affordable $47,995. Or get $4,000 off the all-new 2025 1500 Limited with available 540 horsepower and 521 foot-pounds of torque. Need something for work? The Ram 1500 Classic, starting at $36,999. Peters Ram in Longview has the largest selection of the hardest-working new trucks in the industry. Online at peterscars.com.
At Genco, our goal is to build long-lasting relationships while providing complete financial solutions for each step of life's journey. Our members enjoy fewer fees, lower rates on loans of all types, and higher yields on a wide variety of savings options. That's just a small part of the credit union difference. Visit Genco online, on Facebook, or come by one of our 5 locations today. Apply online for membership. Genco FCU, NCUA Equal Housing Lender.
My money, my future, my credit union. Genco. Pizza, burgers, and Bears football. There's no place around Waco that serves them all other than Bubba's 33. Come show your green and gold and enjoy some of Waco's best food and beverages while watching your favorite team, the Bears. When real Bears fans get hungry, Bubba's 33 is the #1 spot for ice-cold drinks, hand-stretched, stone-baked pizzas, and bacon-infused burgers. Join us for indoor or patio dining. Bubba's 33, Waco's restaurant and proud supporter of Baylor Bears football. Sick 'em, Bears.
Ghost Hydration is a fully transparent, fully loaded, full-flavored hydration drink that we've all been waiting for. Ghost is caffeine-free with electrolytes, 0 sugar, and low sodium that'll hydrate your body before, during, and after your workout. Consumer loved with authentic flavors, so grab and enjoy a Sour Patch Kids Blue Raspberry and Red Berry, along with the Kiwi Strawberry, Orange Squeeze, or Lemon Lime. Ghost Hydration can truly be used anytime. Remember, it's formulated for sports, but made for life.
Parenting is full of surprises.
You never know what to expect.
So after our son was born, I called my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent to set up a life insurance policy in case something happened to me.
Sawyer is now 2.
And we'll soon have a sister. There's no one else I would trust with protecting my family.
Stop by and see our agents at one of our 3 McLennan County locations.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
two-time state championship football coach Claude Mathis with us. DeSoto High School and Duncanville coming up this week. And let's go ahead and tell everybody you're at a hospital. Champ had surgery this morning. How's everything going?
It's going great. Just met with the doctors and everything, and he's doing great. They did a great job in there, going in there to stabilizing the injury. And gosh almighty, I'm just glad we have some great doctors like we do up here. So, man, he's done a great job.
So that's your son. I mean, it's family. Even if it's a player that you play for, or coaches that plays for you, as a coach, how emotional can that be?
Well, it can be very emotional, especially when your own son, because you don't ever want your own son to be, down like that and injured like that, especially when his season is going to be over with too as well. So he's going through some mental toughness right now, and it's really tough on him. But at the same time, I don't look at football the same. I mean, football doesn't mean anything to me. It's going to always be family first. So that's why I left. And I got some great staff, and I got some great kids back at DeSoto that understands and wanted me to come anyway. So that's why I'm here.
Well, and that is the main thing, right? Is taking care of family and all of that. What does that say about how much you do trust your staff and players?
I do trust them a lot. I mean, I think I have the best staff that's there. It doesn't make a difference where at, across the state, across the nation. That's how I feel. And I also have the best kids, and I believe that truly. But it makes my job a lot easier because they're all about family. I'm all about family, and they know that that's my philosophy. We're going to take care of family first. So I also preach it, but I also live it. At the same time, they wanted me to get up out of there, and I did. And it takes a lot for me to do that. So I really have to trust those guys, and I really do.
Claude, you've done an amazing job in your second tenure at DeSoto. It was really good the first time. Why is this now program where it is? It was always good. I mean, even back when Dave Meadows kind of like turned the corner and then you were a part of it. Then they won a state title. Then you came. Why is it in such a good run right now?
I really do believe that, I have a great administration that gives me what I need to be successful. But I also believe that I have some great kids. I have a great staff, and it's keeping everything together and our kids buying into what we have in our culture. And all the players that have been through there since I've been coaching there have really, really helped us out with that by having us have a great tradition. But our culture is stable right now, and our kids understand that, and they're bought in. And we've done a great job in letting them know why we need to buy into our program and why it needs to stay this way. And that's the reason why I think right now we're successful, but also keeping a great staff together. My staff has been tremendous, and it's not a guys can keep a staff like that together. And I've been able to, we've lost some good guys to some head coaches as well as coordinators, but I've also always been able to replace them. And I also have some great kids that's in our feeder school that our junior high coaches have done a great job in helping us keep in our feeder schools to come up to the high school. And those guys buying into our program and really listening to us and really maturing and developing those guys and having great kids, man. So that's the reason why we're at right now.
Is it hard to keep this week normal with the game against Duncanville?
No, it's not a normal week. And our kids understand that, but we're used to it. And they understand that, when you play a great team like this, it's never going to be normal. But it's not about them. It's about us. So we got to continue to stay on an even kill level. And I think we've done that this week.
How much crossover in friendships is there between Duncanville, despite the rivalry and what you guys are both competing for, and the level of success at your program and also with Reggie Samples? How much crossover is there as friendship?
I think it's a great respect thing, but more important, I think it's a great friendship too as well. And the good thing about Coach Samples and myself, we get along. We understand what it's about. At the end of the day, it's about our kids. And it's not about no person about it with Duncanville. It's not a person about it with DeSoto. It's about these kids and the future of our kids. And so I think that me and him have really done a great job in doing it. But at the same time, I think we have a lot of respect for one another and want each other to do well, except when we play each other.
You had this carrot out there, Claude, about winning the state title. And Reggie, we know, knocked on the door, my goodness, and had heartbreak, even when he was at Lincoln. How happy were you for him, and vice versa, him for you, when you guys finally won that state title?
That's funny, because I always tell this story. I was at that Lincoln game. I was at Baylor Stadium when that happened. I was in the stands. I was cheering for him to win. And it's crazy how this is all has turned out, because I'm the guy that's not from the Dallas area, and not very well liked because I'm not from the Dallas area, because I have a guy that came in from Central Texas, and he's the legendary from DFW. So people they never want me to beat him because he's from this area. But at the same time, I cheer for him, and I want him to win state titles. I was cheering for him, and I know that he does the same for me. But I really have him and Coach Todd. I really have come to grow, and we've become really good friends too as well. But I come to grow in a way, and I've changed over time, and I do, and I want us to be successful, and I want Coach Todd to be successful as well. But we're definitely guys that are pulling for one another. I do believe that.
Yeah, and I asked you this last year, and I'll bring it up again. You've matured quite a bit, haven't you?
I have. I really have. When I went to college, it really helped me out. I mean, you never know how that's going to end up as well, but I really matured up a lot, grown up a lot, and that really helped me out. It really did. I think that was the icing on the cake to put me where I need to be at.
All right, you did have that game earlier this year, the North Crowley game. I bring it up because I would think that no matter the score, both teams got better. Did that game make you better?
Pissed me off too, but yeah, it made it. It's one of those things where you know, and we knew, and it just didn't end up our way. But we know what happened. We know what we need to do. But it has made us better, and it has made our teams better. And sometimes, after talking to Nick, sometimes you find things out after a loss. And sometimes you don't want to come complacent. And I don't think we were complacent. I just don't think that game right there, we didn't have the distance that we needed to win that ball game. But they need to be woke up a little bit because, sometimes it could be said and they don't get it. And now they know they get it. But trust me, we are a lot better team off that game, and we're going to be a lot better off after this game.
You went and played a team in Georgia, and Georgia's got great high school football. Florida, Louisiana, Ohio, California. There's this national thing now. You beat the living hell out of them. When you took that game, what did you expect as far as competition?
Preparation. I thought they was going to have great competition, and they do. They're good. We played at another level. We really did. And we didn't make the bonehead mistakes that we did against North Crowley. That was totally different. And when you do stuff like that, you're gonna lose games. And that Georgia team was really good. I saw them up and close. They're good. Our kids played lights out, and it's just one of those things where everybody's trying to say, "Oh, they just want to start." No, that was a very good Georgia team, and our kids played very well, and I'm glad they did.
Okay, we've brought up some of the schools: DeSoto, Duncanville, North Crowley. Southlake Carroll's unbeaten. Allen with Lee Wigginton's doing a heck of a job. We mentioned North Crowley. Austin Westlake. And then you have that district with the Tascasita, North Shore, and Summer Creek all in the same district like you and Duncanville are. Is the top level of 6A football as deep and as good as it's ever been?
I believe so. I really do believe that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you're seeing those teams every single year, and there's no fall off. There's no fall off right now whatsoever, and teams are continuing to get better and better and better. And so you have to bring your A game, and that's why I schedule tough teams in the preseason to prepare me for teams that I'm about to face when I get in the playoffs. And that's just one of those things I've always done, and I'm glad I do it because I know where our kids are at, and our kids are used to it. And that's part of our culture.
Yeah. Did winning the state championship give you some calmness and peace?
You know what? It gave me calmness and peace for our kids, for our community, because I really wanted them to win. I wanted them to understand that they can win state championships too. Other teams do it. Why not DeSoto? And they did that. But calmness and peace with me, no. And the reason why I say that, because I'm greedy. I want more. I want to continue to win more for these kids. I want to continue to win for this community. And I love winning. I love high school football. And, calmness and peace, you're going to get that when you're dead. But right now, I'm just trying to continue to win some more, man.
Yeah, because I remember when Longview had not won a state title since 1937. And, they knocked on the door. My God, when you were at Marshall, you played against the Lobos, you were in 5A. They were in 5A a little bit on and off too, but they just couldn't get that. And then John Tyler was winning, and Lee was winning, and Lufton was winning, and everyone around them, and it killed them because they were the most consistent. And then when John won the state title with his son at quarterback his junior year, Coach Collins, the AD, said to him, you just created a monster. Now Now you finally broke the drought. Now everyone expects that every year.
Yeah, and you don't want to come complacent. It's like when we lost against North Crowley, everybody in the world had thought that we have never won a game before. It was the end of the world. And I was and it woke me up and just made me realize that people are not going to change. They're not going to ever change. I don't care how many you win, there's still going to be some negativity somewhere, especially if you lose. So that has really woke me up. That has really, got my attention, and I'm really focused in a little bit more because our kids need to understand it's some people out there that still don't want us to win, but still don't like DeSoto. Just because we win, they don't mean they like us, and I know that. But it has created a monster, like you said. But I'm good with that. I'm okay with that, and the reason why I'm okay with that is because we're winning, and our kids have been successful. They're going to college. They're winning state championships. They're winning district titles. And they want to have that mystique or that stigma on them that's saying that they weren't winners or they didn't win one. They know they can say that. So I'm all about our players, know about our community. And I know that we've created a monster right now, but I'm fine with that. And I'm hoping to make a bigger monster over the years here while I'm at DeSoto.
Well, I think you're doing that with what you're doing. Last thing for you, you mentioned losing pissed you off earlier this year. That was your word. And I hate losing too, whatever it might be, even if it's playing golf. Does losing now affect you any differently than back when you were a younger coach at DeSoto and then at Marshall?
It does not, because I have a lot of passion and I still have that driving force behind everything because I don't ever want to lose. But this one right there, when you don't lose, and we haven't lost a game over a year and a half, it did something to us. It did something to me because that's something that I'm not accustomed to, and that's something our kids don't want to be accustomed to. But it did change me a little bit. When I say that, it's making me drive and work harder. That's the only thing it's doing.
Oh, yeah. And
I'm okay with that. I really am. But I know that it's got our kids' attention.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. It has our kids' attention right now, and I'm glad it did. I'm not glad it happened, but I'm glad they have our attention now, and we're going to be just fine.
Outside of DeSoto, one more question, and I know you want to get back to Champ, and good luck with him and his recovery. You're on the 2024 College Football Hall of Fame ballot. I know that because I am a voter. I have been a voter for a few years, along with, fortunately for me, a lot of from the Heisman Trophy to whatever, but I'm a part of that. I get to vote. What did that mean to you when you were told you were on the ballot?
When the AD of Texas State told me that I was on the ballot, it was probably one of the greatest moments of my life. And that's being as honest as I can ever be. It's just something that I've never thought of. Just something that I thought would never happen. But I have a chance. I really do.
Yep.
And especially coming from what at the time was Southwest Texas State. Little guy from me, from Bartlett, Texas, a 1A school, going to Southwest Texas State, and just doing the things that I've done because God bless me and has some great teammates and great coaches. And I'm on the College Football Hall of Fame. I mean, that's the ballot. I mean, that's unbelievable. So I'm hoping one day I get inducted. I really do. Hope I'm alive to see it. But that means the world to me, really does, especially to have our people at Texas State, the AD and the president to support me as much as they're doing right now. That's unbelievable.
Now, I was going down the ballot. Yeah. I was so happy for you, man. I was happy for you when you won state title, the first couple, your 2 state titles. And that right there, and I was like, whoa. That's Claude. Congratulations on that. Also for what you're doing there. And good luck again to Champ. Tell him we send our best. Thanks for your time under the circumstances.
You know what? I appreciate it. Smokey, you mean the world to me, man. And I'm glad we kept the tradition alive by me being on your show, man. So hopefully we keep it out of
We're not ending that. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you so much. Claude Mathis, head coach at DeSoto. I've known Claude since he was at DeSoto prior to that, even before that. And then Marshall and then back to DeSoto. We've stayed in touch and appreciate his time. Duncanville and DeSoto coming up, of course, as I mentioned, on Friday. Remember, all those that place will be packed. 2 freaking juggernauts playing each other again, and both of them 2-time defending state champions. When we come back, the best games.
When you need power, performance, and head-turning style, you need Peters Chevrolet. Check out the 2024 Chevrolet Silverado. 1.9% for 36 months with discounts up to $10,000 off on custom crew cabs. 2024 Silverado prices starting at $36,995. Whether you work hard or play hard, take your pick out of the largest selection of new Chevrolets at Peters Chevrolet. Online at peterscars.net. Peters Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
El Conquistador Restaurants are a very proud sponsor of the Midway Panthers, have been owned and operated by the Gonzalez family since 1969. El Conquistador is recognized annually as a local favorite with their fast and friendly service. Dine in or order takeout and enjoy your favorite Tex-Mex items as well as several traditional menu items. Catering is also available with 3 locations to serve you: Waco, Belmead, and Hillsboro. The Gonzalez family thanks you in Waco and the surrounding area for your continued support of 55 years in business. Go Panthers!
Hi, I'm Mark Stewart with Bird Colgin Ford. It's that time of year, it's football season. Bird Colgin Ford is a proud supporter of the best high school football right here in Central Texas. BK Ford is proud to sell the #1 selling truck in Texas, the F-Series truck, 47 years in a row. Come see the largest showroom in Texas and experience better at Bird Colgin Ford.
There are 26 letters in the alphabet, over 600,000 words in the dictionary, and just 3 of them said together can change everything. Let's order pizza. Those 3 words lead to dough made from scratch and 3 fresh signature cheeses that blanket golden crust in a heavenly melt on Marco's Pizza that'll blow your mind. So visit Marcos.com to order and stop by Marco's Pizza in Belmead, China Spring, Woodway, and in Robinson. Marco's. Pizza lovers get it.
We wrap it up every week with the best games of the week, and there are maybe some that slip through the cracks, but this is based on an index system by Jerry Forrest, pigskinprep.com. The number on the right, a blue number, is the combined index of the ranking of each of the teams. For example, the top game, it's a 1 against 3, the number's 4. Down at the bottom, Whitney's 14, Grandview's 23, it's a 37. These are, and there's like probably 15 or 20 more that I can include, but this is the way I keep it within about maybe 12 to 15 or 20 games. Liberty Christian, 4-1. It's a great private school game against Prestonwood. The numbers in black are who is favored and also by how much. And we try to keep this in the single digits or around 10 or so, unless it's a rivalry like last year with last week. Kilgore favored 25 over Henderson, and I said, watch out. And Henderson won that game. Duncanville, DeSoto. What can you say? It's a 1-point pick. Duncanville, DeSoto got them last year. Stratford and Groover. Stratford 3-2, but played very good people. Groover, they're good too at 6-0. Denton Ryan and Richland. Richland's kind of like come out of the dust in a way, 6-0, and a game in which Ryan is favored by just around a touchdown. There's Salina, Sulphur Springs. Brandon Faircloth at Sulphur Springs. They got a good football team, unbeaten, but Salina is a big favorite in that game. Kilgore, think about this. They've played Gilmer. They've played Carthage. And they beat Carthage, lost to Gilmer by 2. Then last week lost to a rival in Henderson, and now they get Chapel Hill. What a great game in Class 4A in Division I. Belleville, Sealy down in the southeast. We'll skip down a couple, down to the Beckville-Wascom game. Beckville, I mentioned to you, Jordan Prince had 309 yards and 7 touchdowns last week. Lampasas and Brownwood. Lampasas, 4-point pick in that game. Garrison and Shelbyville. DJ Barnes of Shelbyville and Garrison always very good at what they do. Overton, I mentioned a couple of their players, including the quarterback and receiver that have put up big numbers. They're an 11-point underdog against Lovelady. Anna, 2-3, and they're good because they've played good people. Anna and Emerson out of Frisco. There's also Silsby, Hampshire, Finette, Port Arthur Memorial, and Barbers Hill, and the last game is Whitney. And what they've done there with David Haynes Jr., a 4-point pick against Grandview, who has played also a very difficult schedule. That's a great district in Class 3A. All right, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. High school football week number 7. Thanks to DeSoto's Claude Mathis. Thanks as well to Riley Dodge of Southlake Carroll. And thanks to you and our sponsors. For Garrett Ross, I'm David Smoke. This is the Statewide High School Football Podcast on 365 Sports. 3rd and 2. They stack the line of scrimmage. There's Dom Hill. There he goes. Dom Hill 40. Dom Hill 30. Downhill Dom Hill. Touchdown. 61 yards.
Smoaky.com presents the Texas High School Football Show on 365 Sports. Brought to you by Peter Chevrolet.
Medlock, they fake it to him. James Keeper off the left side, breaks the tackle, into the secondary, skips away, and he will score. Touchdown, Duncanville.
Here's David Smoke.